Hello and welcome to another episode of Chaos at London. This is Mage Edition, kind of, mostly. Tonight we find ourselves with our good friend Adib, who is awaiting the return of his Jinn, who he sent off to arrange a meeting with the local hermetic representative. So where is Adib waiting for him exactly?
Adib is waiting currently in his current residence, which is his node, which is in an abandoned train yard. It is a 1-point node. Each nice, kind of a seedy area.
Okay. Your genie will arrive. He looks a little flustered. As soon as he shows up, he is forcing his way back into your ring, mumbling something about gotta get where it's safe, gotta get where it's safe, gotta get where it's safe, gotta get where it's safe.
I'm just looking at it going, that's a little worrying coming from you.
It finally pops its way into the ring, takes a deep breath, lets it out. I found the place.
And
The man answered the door with a shotgun. At first I wasn't afraid, and then I looked at the shotgun and I was very afraid. He yelled, "What the fuck are you doing here?" And I said, "I'm here to arrange a meeting." He said, "Send them here. Just don't come knocking on my door again." So I think you're welcome there. I don't think he'll hurt you, but he seemed a little upset.
I mean, I thought that would be the polite thing, sending someone ahead to ask for a meeting. I thought from that one court scene we were in, the trial, it seemed like they were very bent on ceremony.
Yeah, that's what I would think too. But you know.
Oh well. What do you think? He goes to like check his wardrobe, like, probably won't need the stealth out. Well, no, just go with my nice colorful robes. And he's going to switch out to much prettier attire.
Okay.
Robes of command. Yay. Not that he's actually using the effect or anything. It just gives him a skill. It's a skill bonus, -3 difficulty on certain social roles.
Yeah.
Anyways, he is going to gather up his stuff and head on over. I should point out, fortunately, Adib no longer glows like the sun to prime detectors. He has effectively a 7 success prime shield that is hiding his signature.
Fair enough.
So, yay, I no longer advertise my presence to everyone.
Elizabeth, you're walking down the street and you see this flashy fellow walking around.
Adib!
I see you survived.
I did.
I mean, I did offer you a way out, but I take it things calmed down after that?
Yeah. The faceless thing was like, oh, I'm cool with letting you guys go. And then these idiots are just like, oh, hey, let me keep attacking this thing. I'm just like trying to get out of there with that one person who was apparently going crazy.
Yes, I mean, I hit it once, and that was enough. I'm not used to things catching my sword. But, he's just going to shrug slightly. I'm heading over to... He looks down at the ring. Wait a minute. It's not the same place where the trial was it?
No, it wasn't. It was out in the woods.
Really? That's where they're located? Okay, all right. Looks back at Elizabeth. I'm paying a visit to the order.
Sorry, what was that?
He said he's paying a visit to the order. He was saying it to Elizabeth.
Oh yeah. Um,
Well, that sounds fun.
I don't have a card, but if you wish to come with.
I mean, I have a car. Do you need a ride?
Sure. He looks at the ring. Can you get a car anywhere near there?
yes.
All right, cool. He'll just follow and provide directions, I guess.
Um, the ring leads there. He's getting slightly more panicky as you get closer to this house. It is a fairly nice looking house just out in the woods. You'll see a minivan sitting outside.
Is it like a normal sized suburban house?
Yeah.
Huh. He's just looking more and more confused. Like, this is not what he envisioned when he looked for, big home of headquarters of, hermetic stuff. They seem way flashier.
So you roll up. The door to the front, or the front door to the house opens, and you'll see Jason standing there, who I believe you've seen before.
It's been a long time. I don't remember what he looks like, but yeah.
Okay. He's got brown hair. He's got somewhat short, like medium length. And he's wearing like a plaid shirt and pair of jeans. And he has a shotgun. Not aimed at you guys, but like it's just kind of resting at his side. And he'll just kind of look at the pair of you and say, "So are you guys the one who sent the fucking genie after me?"
She points at Steve.
I didn't send it after you. It was here to politely request a meeting.
Okay. Come on in. He'll pick up the shotgun and hang it on a rack next to the doorway. Step aside and let you guys enter.
He'll follow him.
Elizabeth will go in cautiously.
Jason will close the door behind you. And he'll say, "Come this way." He'll lead you both to the kitchen and start pouring himself something to drink. Either of you like anything?
I'm okay with water.
I'll pour you a glass of water.
Yeah, water would be fine. Thank you.
You have a glass as well. Alright, so why did you need to meet with me?
It was less of a need and more of a bit of curiosity about the order, honestly. I have been told by some individuals that you take the struggle against the technocracy more seriously than the others. I wasn't sure if that was true, but I thought I might want to investigate. I haven't seen much of your folk before.
There.
What's the technocracy?
Fuckheads that control quite a bit more than they should and want to get rid of really anything that isn't normal, quote unquote.
Purveyors of the Druge, yes.
Yeah, it's true. A lot of us are a bit more gung-ho about it. I kind of think there's overcompensating for the fact that we nearly joined them at the beginning, but whatever.
Everyone makes mistakes, I suppose?
Of course. We just have a hard time admitting it, and instead just freak out. Some of us do. There are several of us being traditionalists, not order members, who are definitely very strong against the technocracy. By definition, we all are, but you know.
I don't hate technology itself from what I have seen. I just don't like the uses to which they have put it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, fair. Well, much the same way. I'll kind of point at the shotgun.
Speaking of which, he looks down at his ring. You really scared him. I'm not blaming you, but would you mind reassuring us that unless we do something stupid, you're not about to shoot us? He's quivering.
As long as you are within my home and do not act in any way that is untoward, namely uh, insulting me horrendously or threatening mine or my family's life, you have my hospitality.
All right. Oh, and there wasn't a weapon check at the door, so should I just declare what I'm armed with, or?
I'm not terribly concerned about it.
All right, then.
I'm armed with my wits, if that counts.
You'd be surprised at how effective a weapon that can be. So, what exactly did you want to know about the order?
Well, I don't know very much so far, other than you are apparently an old organization, and from what I was told, you're very proud of that, which is fair. You have quite a bit of knowledge. You don't always have the best reputation with spirits, it seems. I hope that's not offensive. I'm just saying what I have heard.
No, complete and total assholes and spirits.
I try not to be. They're more cooperative when you're not.
Oh, I agree.
He says while he holds an enslaved genie.
He'll tell your genie friend I'm sorry. I was just a little worried because suddenly a spirit was around.
Sorry, go ahead.
I've upset a few spirits. I will not deny. So when one comes just unannounced that I don't really recognize, I get a little antsy, you know.
Fair enough. And I suppose there was no harm meant on either part, so simple misunderstanding and all that. Other than that, I only know what I've seen. You apparently have quite a few laws and rules, which that makes me a little more nervous. But any organization that old probably has their share of them. You fight the technocracy. You are mystical, and you have a whole bunch of things called houses. That's about the extent of what I know.
Yeah. A lot of the rules are pretty common sense. Don't mess with your allies. Fight our enemy. Don't piss off a few individuals. Pretty simple. Uh, that's what they can all kind of be down to, at least. Or a little pomp and circumstance. You know.
I'm familiar with pomp and circumstance.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, it's her response.
Fair enough.
Hmm.
We have a lot of houses. I'm in House Flambeau. We're generally known as the tech nukes within the order.
The mushrooms, those giant weapon things. That's quite a lot to live up to.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Huh. Oh. Hmm. Yeah, but that is only one, right? There are others, you said.
Right.
I'm not expecting you to go at length to explain all of them, of course. I did not come here to turn you into the hermetic tour guide so much. I have, of all the mages that I have met in this city so far, very few seem to have any desire at all to fight against the technocracy, except at uttermost end of self-defense. It seems as if most of them are convinced that the problem will solve itself, or a better solution than fighting will present itself, or they should just dig their heads in the sand and hope it blows over.
Right. The issue with fighting them directly is that they have a bit more resources than we do. Hell, for 2 years I was locked up in Hong Kong because I couldn't leave because of something they made. along with a bunch of us. Some of the most powerful magi I've ever known, in fact. So we can fight them. We just kind of gotta be not necessarily subtle, but we can't draw their attention too much, if that makes sense.
Of tactics.
Yes.
He looks like he's processing this. He's not sure. Like, you guys have clearly said yes, we're opposed to them, but you're also saying, oh hey, direct confrontations are probably a bad idea.
Mhm.
And he's just like not sure how he likes that so far. He's like, I'm not saying that one should simply attack when it's foolish, but if you don't make any efforts to use what resources you have when there are opportune moments or work to create such opportune moments, you can't win against a superior enemy by simply avoiding conflict. You also can't win it by charging headlong into a, well, you don't want to impale yourself on their sword, but still.
Right. That's why I am out here, working towards opportunities.
Mm. Are there many hermetics in the city, or?
There were. Um, and then someone ended up eating our chantry.
Oh, I remember that. For the 5 minutes it was on the internet.
And now there's me and that Steven guy and Hannah. Hannah's nice.
There are only 3 of you now in the city?
That I'm aware of. I've been out here, so
Eh.
More than the other human beings, I guess.
yeah, kinda, yeah. It's safer that way.
I mean, I think that's why he's playing the shotgun. He's actively avoiding other people.
That is fair. Normal people, if not properly. Yes. Hmm. So, I understand if the Hermetics lost some ground in the city, but do you not intend to recover it? Bring in more apprentices or something? More magi?
That's also part of why I'm out here. I'm making teleportation circles to the basement, trying to
Ah,
get people shipped in, as it were.
uh,
Out here, they don't have quite as much of a presence. The technocracy doesn't. So it's a bit easier to sneak them in through here.
if you were to do it in smaller numbers and you kept it discreet, you might also see about having them travel through the crossroads. Are you familiar with it?
Vaguely, I've been there a couple times. That's not a bad idea, honestly.
I do not think they would approve of large numbers, but a few individuals traveling through and stopping to get a bite to eat or so on, they would hardly have cause to argue with that if they did not cause trouble.
Yeah,
The proprietors are fairly reasonable.
it's a good idea.
Hmm. So, a slight question on the. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I wasn't saying anything.
Oh, sorry. Um, One slight question about history. How well? I'll try not to ask too many. How old is your organization?
He'll think for a second as Tiger goes and grabs his Order of Hermes card so he can.
I mean, that's one of those complicated, depends on your interpretation things. They technically formally started in like 700 something AD, but
Yeah,
a lot of their groups claim to be from like BC.
yeah. I consider it the When Trinoma and Bonasagus met with the 12 wizards and formed the Order, quote unquote, around 767 AD.
So over 1,200 years, 1,250 almost, something like that. Yes, fairly impressive.
We're not the oldest, though. If you hear a Hermetic say that, just kind of smile and nod, but no, it's not true.
But why disillusion them? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, she was just asking who is the oldest.
I don't know, probably the Verbenner.
I believe I've interacted with some of their folk once or twice. Huh. And these houses, how were they formed?
Several of them were formed by the council that met and formed the Order. My house was one of those, Bonasagus, Titleist. Some were just formed out of a need for a new role or a niche. Some just had a bunch of people join at once and they decided to form their own house. It kind of depends on the house.
How strict are the requirements to join the Order?
To join, not terribly strict as long as you show some magical talent. To stay in, a bit more strict.
What do you mean by staying in a bit more?
To stay in, you'll be constantly tested and you have to prove yourself worthy and whatnot. You have to follow the laws and blah, blah, blah.
Until you get powerful enough to follow them at your discretion, right?
He just kind of points a finger gun at Adib and says, I didn't say that.
No, you certainly didn't. That would be reprehensible of you. Yes, I understand this. Well, I might, and I stress might, know some budding young individuals with an interest in such things. And it might be that in the near future, we might have need of some structure. I cannot promise that everything would be perfectly up to your standards, but if they show promise and if I find myself satisfied with their worth, perhaps we might discuss. I'm not really sure what it would be, really. What does it take to form a house?
Enough people to back you and enough clout to fend off the people who try to say, oh, well, you can't form a house.
So the latter I've already got. The first part, I need to work on that.
That's fair.
He seems completely confident about that point. He's like, yeah, I can handle the second part.
You can always start as a member of House X Miscellanea, which has a bunch of smaller houses, as it were, kind of sub-houses. Work your way up from there. That seems to be pretty common.
Would it not be harder to work on, well, doing anything of your own once you have already joined the Order, though? Since I would be beholden to your rules and such, whereas if I... That is actually a question I have not thought to ask. What are your rules about speaking of such things to mortals?
I mean, I think the answer is pretty obvious. Don't.
Yes.
If they can be sworn to secrecy, or they show magical promise, then bring them in.
She waves.
He'll kind of squint and focus his eyes. But you're weird. Ugh.
Did you just Yumi?
I don't like it.
To be fair, I don't know what she is either. I thought she might have the talent for sorcery at one point. We never did get around to trying to train you.
Yeah, I'd offer to do the whole sorcery thing, but I kind of skipped that step personally.
I know something of it, but well, actually, as it happens, I might be holding lessons in the near future. If you're interested, you're welcome to attend.
Yeah, sure. I'm down.
That applies to you as well, of course, Elizabeth.
People.
Hmm.
I'm not a very people person.
Well, neither are most of the people I'm working with. But...
Like me.
Sorry, go ahead.
She's saying people don't really like her.
I doubt that would be an issue, but if that is what you feel is best. In any case, yes, if that is the rule, then it would not be prudent of me to put myself in a situation where I would have to break such rules. It'd be much easier if I were simply able to show up with the right number of people and, well, if everyone is there, present, has some talent, and is willing to join, then I'm sure there'd be no complaints.
For sure.
So that might be some time in coming, but good to know. What would be a good number?
Probably around 50. 50 probably be good enough to start getting some eyes, as it were.
Did he say 15 or 50?
50, 50.
He's like, he just widens his eyes for a second. He's like, I could do that. Take some time, but I could do that. Right now, I'm just working on 3. But you think big. I like that.
You gotta start somewhere.
Indeed. Oh, I suppose you are the ranking member of your order in the city at the moment?
It's either me or Steven. I'm not entirely sure.
Interesting. But there was a situation a few days ago that you might be interested in.
Was it the death mask person?
Yes. Did you already tell him?
No. I mean, this is the first time I met the guy, so. I'll fill you in right quick and she fills you in since you were there.
Complete with it. Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Some sort of powerful thing with ghosts that absorb people or something, and other ghosts are enslaved. So, yes, very unusual.
I don't like that at all.
Also, it stopped my sword. I'm not used to things stopping my sword.
Can I see your sword?
Sure. Opens his robes and hands you his lightsaber.
I'm just gonna look at it. I'm assuming it's not on right now.
Oh, no. There's a obvious button. And an obvious end that it comes out of.
He looks at it. He'll point the end away from everybody and push the button.
And it just got colder in the room.
He'll push the button again.
And it turns off.
Absolute zero blade?
Sorry, what do you say?
Absolute zero blade?
Essentially, yes. As little energy as possible in the space of the blade.
It's kind of cool. He'll hand it over to you carefully.
He takes it and puts it away. Some of the enchantments are imperfect, though. I believe I will have to replace this little focusing ring here. You see, it makes it actually more intense, adds some energy to it. Without it, it's, well, a lot less damaging.
And you said this brave lord Like, stopped it?
with one hand, and I wasn't so much worried about honor at that point. I struck it. I'm not sure how you would say. I bent space, if that makes sense. I hit it from behind in the head, and it just reached up and grabbed it without even looking.
Yikes.
And this was while it was being attacked from the front by someone else.
Double yikes. Um,
Oh, by the way, would Elizabeth have described what it looks like in Prime Sight and all that stuff, or no?
Probably not, 'cause she doesn't have Prime Sight.
Oh, so insert detailed description of what it looks like under all various sites.
Now, this, like, halfway through the explanation, Jason holds a finger and goes to get a notebook and a pencil and says, "All right, continue," and starts writing it down.
Yeah, he basically gives you spirit sight, aura sight, primarily spirit sight, aura sight, and prime sight. Those are the three. Well, also matter sight if that matters. Pun intended.
But I'll look into this and see if I can't pull anything about this. 'Cause that's not okay.
No, and apparently it had some other creature as its what was it thing that was crawling towards you, Elizabeth?
I think it may have been an undead, as we described it. You know, one of those.
Oh,
Talking to the other person like they knew each other.
oh, so vampire, is that the word?
Fucking vampire?
Yes, they drink blood, I'm told.
Yeah, that's a vampire. Well, I guess they're not technically the only ones that drink blood, but they're the most likely ones to be around here.
Still, that seems very unusual. This thing is apparently going after ghosts, vampires, and doesn't give a shit about us.
Well, he did say he was lord over undead.
Must not be fun to be an undead in this city at the moment.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not one.
Oh, and like he had some sort of telepathic or telekinesis. He dragged a half vampire from across the room with telekinesis.
Yeah, I'm not fond of this thing at all.
I should probably get on training some people and, well, keeping them far away from that thing.
That'd be a good idea.
Just in case, if things get too dicey in the city, I'm less worried about forming my own house and more about keeping track of and taking care of anyone I bring under my training. If things get too dicey, could the order at least find a place for anyone that I've been working with? Get them out of the city, if nothing else, maybe?
I could find you some places, yeah.
Good to have a backup plan.
Mm-hmm. Just try and give me some heads up.
Don't worry, I don't plan on dropping off a school bus.
Mm-hmm.
Hey. So, just out of curiosity, if this thing has control over vampires, or vampires, however you pronounced it, what do you do to fight those things? They seemed, well, I mean, if it was cut in half, it can't be that tough, but...
Some vampires are very strong.
Yeah, this thing was like growing claws and making like deep gouges in the concrete as he was being dragged away.
Fireworks.
Fire's good.
Yeah, don't try to shoot them. It tends to not work. If you can stake them in the heart, that'll incapacitate them, but it won't kill them.
Stake them as in... impale them?
He'll like go to a cupboard and pull out a wooden stake.
Ah. Like that's... Okay, yes, I understand the translation now.
Yeah.
And that it's what does it do to them again?
It incapacitates them, makes them go to sleep. Won't kill them, but they'll be pretty useless.
Convenient. I should talk to a wood spirit about that. Huh. Let's see. Fire and wood to the heart. Anything else?
Sunlight. Sunlight works.
Hmm.
That's a bit more harder to, make happen. But
Well, if you know what you're doing and put a lot of work into it, you could always bring a little bit from somewhere else, but that'd take a lot of effort.
right.
Honestly, I don't know if he has like control to control them like mentally.
Well, that ghost thing did, and it can control the ghosts.
I mean, what ghosts?
There were these things, and he'll explain the 4 books, the people who were tied to the books, trying to unravel it and having no luck. And his assumption that there was probably another such thing that that possessed the Ailey. So, yes, even if it doesn't have the ability to control them, it can control the ghosts, which can do the same thing.
That's worrisome.
Yes, I was not familiar with these ghosts to begin with, but I might be able to see them now that I've seen what their world looks like. Should probably work on making sure I can do that, actually. Might be helpful.
Yeah.
Also, if... do you suppose it might be prudent to keep an eye on what the ghosts and vampires are doing, as far as if they fall? It might be useful to know if this creature is controlling all of them already, or if it is hunting them, or anything.
Yeah, we can keep an eye on them. I know the vampires tend to value their privacy, and they can often react poorly. So be careful on that.
I'll be careful.
Isn't there like a big meeting house in the middle?
Yeah.
Why don't you just ask somebody to go there?
Yeah, you can do that.
Sorry, what'd she say? I couldn't hear.
Ask for the information
Ah, fair.
instead of,
Just keep it available.
All right, then. Well, that's most of my questions. Trying to think if there's anything else. There's also some sort of, I don't know if you've noticed, but there's some sort of ancient spirit. I believe it's unrelated, but I can't say for sure. It's some sort of ancient spirit of the city, and it's apparently been asleep for some long time, and it is starting to wake up. And it's put all these little flower spirits throughout the city to, quite bluntly, spy on people.
Can't say that I've heard anything about it, but I'll keep an eye out.
I just thought you might want to know in case you see one of them. They're fairly noticeable if you can see things in the spirit realm. Other than that, that's about the extent of it.
Excellent. Yeah, if you have any more questions, just let me know. Do you have a phone?
Yes, and he pulls out a phone. Does Jason have Spirit Sight active?
Yes.
There is a very well-fed data spider in that phone.
he'll just kind of lean down to the phone and whisper his number into it.
And based on how Adam has played that spider before, it'll just be like, sure, and just adds it.
All right, so my number's in there now. I think I'm kind of squinting suspiciously at the phone.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
If it's not, then I guess just come back here. I promise I won't aim a shotgun at your genie friend again.
Quite all right. This little fellow is... I'm not the best with things. I can use this phone, but I'm not... it's a little confusing at times. This thing makes it a little easier. Tends to do all the work for you.
That's cool.
But I believe I've trespassed on your time enough. I do appreciate it. I will keep in touch with you if I learn anything of interest. I believe this fellow can send a discreet message when need be. Oh, there was one other thing. There was I was looking for confluxes of power within the city not too long ago. And I found one which was fairly potent. Not the most powerful I could imagine, but fairly potent. It was underground, underneath a office building of some sort, abandoned. The strange thing was, it was in some sort of series of underground caverns. Not natural, I don't believe, but it looked completely abandoned, as if no one was guarding it at all, which seemed very strange for a potent node. I thought it might belong to the Verbena. There were quite a number of plants in there. But I paid a visit with one... insert Ian's character name. I'm sorry, Eli. There you go. Eli and someone else. And I don't understand all the terms that were used, but something about nanotech barriers, and they seemed to think it was the technocracy living there. But we couldn't determine why, and we weren't about to go storming the castle, so to speak.
Right. Huh, it's kind of weird.
Figure you might want to know, but Eli seemed to think it would be a good idea to run straight in, but I convinced him otherwise. Probably best to come back later with much more firepower, so to speak.
Yeah.
Rather surprised if it was the technocracy, they didn't do anything about us being on their doorstep.
They might not have wanted to cause a fuss, or might have not been able to.
Both possible. Without investigating, hard to know. But anyways. And he's going to get up and just say, well, I do appreciate your time. It was lovely meeting you. If you wish to stay longer, Elizabeth, I can always make my own way back. It's some distance, but I can probably take a shortcut.
Your lovely conversationalist with the, ego.
Oh, my ego's not even that bad compared to most others.
I know. Oh, I don't know other hermetics,
right.
But your ego is not the worst I've seen, but...
Yeah, it's fine.
Anyways, I'll give you a ride home.
Thank you. And I'm guessing they head out.
Yeah, we can end it there. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching. This has been another episode of Chaos at London. Join us next time when Jason hopefully won't aim a shotgun at random spirits.